Let's get now to Governor Kathy Hochul. She joins us on the phone with how the state response has been so far. Governor, good evening to you. I know that a lot of people are actually probably watching the AFC Championship game right now, but others obviously tuning in, curious about what the roads are going to look like in the morning. What is your major concern here as people will need to possibly go to work and start their normal lives tomorrow?
That's right, and we've been very fortunate to have the brunt of it, or at least the beginnings of this, take place over a weekend when there's fewer people, needing the commuter rails, who are on the roads, et cetera. Certainly not school today, but tomorrow is a different ballgame. We've asked employers who can allow their employees to work remotely to do so, to keep people off the roads. We've done that at the state level because you were just talking about the plow drivers. They need to keep doing their jobs, and it's really hard for them when there's a lot of traffic out there, or people get too close to the plow. I mean, there's a saying, don't crowd the plow. Sorry. And so we have to make sure that, people are smart about this and that they allow them to do their jobs. And we're going to keep, staying out there all day long and all night long on the state roads as well.
And, Governor, a lot of the times, New Yorkers, when they hear a state of emergency has been declared, they just know, all right, it's time to hunker down, watch the news, listen to local officials. Can you walk us through the criteria and what needs to happen, what needs to be met ahead of declaring a state of emergency so our viewers are aware of how serious an event like this is and know to take it seriously themselves?
Well, a state of emergency does focus people on what that warning is all about, and I appreciate you raising that. It allows us to do a few things. One is convey the seriousness of it. This is a life-threatening event. It is going to be the coldest temperatures that we've seen across many parts of the entire state in years. In fact, we shattered records last night. If you live in Watertown, I know your audience does not, but if they have any friends in Watertown, the actual temperature was minus 34. In another area was minus 50. That's not the real feel. That is not the wind chill. That is the real temperature. So it is dangerous, but also by imposing a state of emergency, I have the flexibility to deploy state resources, for example, to help a city or a county that might need extra help with the snow plows. Otherwise, there's a lot of bureaucracy involved where I can go. If I need to procure more salt very quickly, I can do so without any barriers in the way. So when it's an emergency, I want to have all assets at my disposal, all the full power of the government to protect people on the roads and keep them safe in their homes.
Speaking of assets, Governor, you did deploy more than 200 National Guard members across the state. What are they doing?
Well, I primarily focused them in the Hudson Valley, Long Island, and New York City areas, again, because the volume of snow was coming down so high. The temperatures are so extreme. I need them available to do everything to help people get to warming shelters, to help if vehicles are stranded off of roads, and I just use them as an extra sets of hands, which can be essential in a crisis. We've had to do this in storms before, and I've never regretted being proactive when it comes to people's lives, and so that's why they're available. They have not had to be deployed in mass scale yet, but they're available for us. Then the icy roads tonight are going to be dangerous, and the freezing temperatures, and this is the bad news if you've not covered this already, we will not see temperatures anywhere in the state of New York above 32 degrees, above freezing for 9 more days. So freezing temperatures across the state. And sometimes localities need some extra help, and I can send in not just my state resources, but also the National Guard.
Yeah, Governor, we told our viewers a couple of hours ago about that fact that this snow, this ice, this mess is going to be sticking around for the better part of the week and into next week as well. Obviously, New York is a lot bigger than just New York City. Our city is getting hammered right now, but the suburbs are getting hammered, and upstate is getting it even worse. How are we faring all together right now from the information you're getting?
Well, it's as expected because we have New York State, and I invested in this a few years ago, has the most sophisticated weather tracking system in the country available to me here in Albany. I was at our emergency operations center with 9 different agencies reporting to me on what we've done in advance, what we're doing as the storm is unfolding, and what our concerns are. And thankfully, the winds have not kicked up. This is usually when we get into real trouble, when you have the blinding whiteouts, something I'm very familiar with, having spent most of my life in Buffalo. you can't see the car in front of you on the roads during many of these storm events. We're not experiencing that right now, so we are fortunate in that sense. So we have had utility crews deployed, snow plows deployed, personnel deployed all over the state, and it's a vast, vast undertaking because normally you say it's New York City or it's Western New York or it's the North Country. We have every corner of the state that's going to need some help from the state, and for our personnel to do their jobs, it's massive. But they're on top of it. The reports I'm getting is everything's going as expected. We're trying to really keep the subway moving. The MTA is critically important. It's running as expected, but don't be surprised if there's delays, especially if there's snow on the tracks that has to be removed to keep everyone safe. And we've had some problems. We had some, the Harlem Road Harlem River Drive was closed temporarily because of a disabled vehicle. So we are on top of every traffic incident in the entire state. You can see it on a massive screen up in Albany. But we've been very good about helping localities clear that out of the way. So no major closures. The airports are another story. LaGuardia being closed till 6 a.m., so I hope no one has to travel on a plane because you'll face massive cancellations and disruptions. But we're doing the best we can, and I have a very experienced team. They literally go through exercises year-round. We focus really in the summertime. We sat at the table and came out a scenario just like this. What if it is a mass statewide event? Who goes where? Who does what? And how do we keep New Yorkers safe?
One other element that we need to keep track of during the storm, Governor, is electricity, power outages. I took a quick look before we got on the air here, and I wouldn't say that there's a significant amount, but there are, a few thousand people without power in the state. When we were speaking with Governor Mikey Sherrill a bit ago, she said that the utility companies have brought in some reinforcements from out of state. What is the status for New York?
We have about 5,500 deployed around the state as well to restore power. And again, there's a couple of good factors that are, positive for us. One is without the high winds, we're not seeing the wires come down on the roads. And we're also not getting the accumulation of ice that can bring down a power line. 1 inch of ice is about 700 pounds of weight out of power line, and that's what brings down the power. So those are not happening at this moment. So we have, I think, less than 2,000 right now, although it can change. That's statewide. That is, again, in Western New York, you can have 60,000 out all at once. And so we're fortunate in that respect. But again, we're watching it closely. Anything can change. But we have utility crews deployed, ready to reactivate the power as soon as they're able to safely get up on the lines and restore them.
All right, Governor Kathy Hochul, my son is not far from you. He's at Ithaca College, and they're loving the snow today. They're having a great time out there. But he said that they're definitely getting clobbered, and it's super cold. But we appreciate.
I bet they're enjoying it.
Yeah, they really are. No classes tomorrow, so they're pumped.
That's what they're enjoying.
All right, Governor, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Governor.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.